Hello and welcome to today's video detailing everything that I knit in 2022. Hi there and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Mia and I am the maker behind KnitandGrace. And so today I have, I would say quick, but I have 24 items to go over, a video detailing everything that I made this year. And so I am filming this on December 17th, so the day before this video goes out. There are a couple more weeks left in the year, but I did want to sit down and detail everything that I have knit so far in the year. And then hopefully I will have one more FO, although that will just have to be detailed in my first podcast for 2023. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in because, as I mentioned, I have 24 items. If you have been around here before, you will likely have seen many of these items. I'm not going to go into detail on any of these items other than what the pattern is, what the yarn I used, and then, you know, what I made it. And then I will link all of my Ravelry project pages below so that if you wanted to see the specific details on any one of the projects, you can. And then of course, if Ravelry is not accessible to you, I have documented many of these on my Instagram page, but you can always shoot me a DM or leave me a comment below and I can give you the details for the particular project that you're wanting to know more about. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so that this video isn't too long. And I'm going to start off with my first item that I finished in 2022, which actually I finished on January 1st. So this is technically like my last item that I knit in 2021, but it is my Aito wrap by Melody Hoffman. And so I finished this wrap on January 1st, 2022, and I used Plotulopi, which is the yarn that this pattern calls for. And so yeah, I will insert pictures of all of these, of me wearing all of these for you all so you can see them, or if I have an FO shot so you could see the full shot. But this is, I love this wrap. I wear it all the time. It's one of my wraps that I have just laying around all the time that I just love to snuggle up in. And this is one that I actually never blocked. So it still has that very sheepy smell. So it's very comforting to wrap myself up in this beautiful shawl. And I'm just tossing everything into a laundry basket that's on the floor in front of me. But my next finished object of 2022, also another Melody Hoffman project, another Plotulopi project, and this is the Wild Posy Flora version. And so I probably should have taken all of these projects out and given them a good steam beforehand, but most of these have been sitting in my knitwear cabinet up until now, just because it hasn't actually been very cold up until the past couple of weeks. But yeah, I knit this one in Plotulopi held double, and I finished this one on January 13th, and I wore this one to death. I did make some modifications, which are outlined on my Ravelry page. And I plan on making another one in 2023 in some Nutiden that I have in stash. So I'm very excited about that. The next project, I recently wore them and now I don't know where they have gone, so I will insert a picture of those here. But they are the Vår Socks by Lerka of Fiber Tales, and this was a test knit that I did for her, and I finished these socks on January 29th of 2022, and I knit these in Retosaria Pomar Mondim. Love these socks. They've held up very well. First time using a non-superwash sock yarn, and they've held up very well, and I love wearing them. My next project is the Cempasuchil by Magali McDonald of the Knit Yorker. And so this was another test knit. Let's see if you can see some of the detail. It has this like waffle pattern that's meant to mimic the Mexican marigold. And yeah, this is a very simple project. It's a raglan. It's knit from the bottom up. And I knit this one in Knit Picks Gloss, which I believe is they only have a fingering, but the fingering version. And absolutely love this top, and actually I wore this top to death at the beginning of the year in all of my Zoom meetings, and it's even made a real life appearance in the office quite a few times as well. A very good top for transitional weather. Then I have another test knit. This one is for Paola Lemay of Hoho Tricot, and this is the Asnes Beanie. And so it's just a simple ribbed beanie, and so I knit this one in Plotulopi held doubles, just stash busting. And so you can just fold up the brim like that, and it has a nice wide brim. And I finished this one on February 10th. I'm just looking at my notes, and I don't think I mentioned when I finished the Cempasuchil, which was on February 15th. So yeah, so I finished this one on February 10th, and this was just a really easy stash busting hat project. Then the next project that I finished was the Triangular Triangles shawl by Pearl Soho, and this is not one that I currently have because it was a gift for my mother. And so I finished this one on March 23rd, and I knit this one in Kelborn Woolens Andorra in the color Mushroom. And so my mom loves this shawl. I loved knitting it. I have plans to knit another one in 2023, so absolutely love the pattern. Then the next pattern that I knit was another test knit and another Plotulopi project. I was trying to knit down my stash for a while, and then I acquired more stash. But this is the Belfair Hat by Rachel McLean. And so I knit this one in Plotulopi held single, and I used 3 different colors for this hat. And so this one was finished on March 8th of 2022. Then another project that was much worn in the spring and now is very wrinkled is my Pretty Basic Ruffle Raglan. And this is by Melissa George. And this is just a really pretty basic ruffle t-shirt, or basic raglan t-shirt with this ruffle detail along the front raglan. And I knit this one in Knit Picks Palette, and I finished this one on April 14th. Then next up, just like grabbing from my pile here, Next up, I have my Vildnis, another test for Lerca of Fiber Tails. And this one, I actually have worn to the office, although I have not fully woven in all of my ends. But I am planning on actually shortening the sleeves a bit. So I haven't worn it recently because I do want to pull back the sleeves and shorten them a little bit to my preferred bracelet length sleeve. And so it's just a really nice lightweight fingering weight sweater with this beautiful textured yoke. So there you go there. And I knit this one in Knit Picks palette as well. Then, because my husband was going through my stash, or I just needed a commuting project, and when I was knitting my version of this hat, my husband thought that it would be nice for him to have a winter version, which now he's finally going to get to wear, that it's actually cold outside. I knit Rob an Asnes hat as well, the Asnes Beanie by Paula. And so this one, again, I held Potilopi double, and this one I held a brown and a black double, so it's like this marl effect. And so I finished this one on April 30th, and I'm pretty sure it was a commuting project. So that's why I cast that one on. Then I have my Felix Cardigan by Amy Christophers. And so this was my first time knitting with Knitand, right? Yeah. And so I knit mine, and as you can see, I still don't have buttons on it. And believe it or not, I have worn this quite a bit. Usually my cardigans I just throw on top of stuff, so I don't usually button them up. So I never got around to sewing on buttons. And so I knit this in the color Use. And so there's the little eyelet detail on the raglan. And so yeah, this is a very basic cardigan pattern, and it's really the eyelet detail and the raglan that makes it, gives it a little bit something special. And I have worn this one quite a bit over like my dresses, or like if I was cold in my home office, just open to have something as a layer. And so yeah, Knitand in the color Use, Felix Cardigan, Amy Christophers, and I finished this one in March, although I don't know when in March because I didn't apparently put in an actual date when I finished the cardigan in my Ravelry thread. So, my next pile is about to fall over. So the next pattern, and hopefully I'm not going too fast through these, but again, because I've detailed all of these in my podcasts, just kind of whizzing through them. But the next pattern that I knit was the Mooncrush by Jackie Cieslak, and this was a test knit. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I had a little bit of a blocking situation where there was dye transfer. So I do have plans to over dye this. I have not over dyed it yet, so I'm going to show you what it looks like, as much as it pains me to do so. But this is what it looks like, and then as you can see, there's quite a bit of dye transfer in certain areas. And so initially I had knit this in like this mint green, terracotta, and like a beige color. And unfortunately I have yet to wear this one because I do want to over dye it. And yeah, so this one I made in Brooklyn Tweed Peary, and I finished this one on July 23rd. Okay, so moving along, this is one of my favorite pieces that I knit this year, and I have worn it quite a bit, although not as much. I've worn it quite a bit recently, although not as much as I wanted to, because I did finish this in the summer, and it is knit in Knitand. And so this is the Fields of Gold pullover by Isabella Clark. And it is this beautiful pullover. It is designed to be knit with unspun yarn. So it has this really pretty wheatgrass motif. And so I did knit. This pattern is designed for Nutiden, which I did knit it in. And I'm currently testing the shawl version of this pattern for Bella. And so yeah, so I used Nutiden with this one. And this one was finished on July 8th. I probably should have written my notes a little bit larger so that I could see everything. Another Nutiden project. So this one I knit with Nutiden and Barocco Ariel. So I just had one strand of Nutiden and one strand of the silk mohair, and apparently there's some foots in here from when I wore it around the fire. But this is my Stockholm sweater. So I think everyone knows this sweater, Stockholm by Petite Knit. And yeah, I mean, can't really say any bad things about this. It's just your basic pullover. Now that it's gotten a bit cooler, I'm really looking forward to wearing it a lot more. And I might go back and shorten the sleeves even a little bit more. I did make them purposefully long, but we'll see after I wear it a couple more times how I feel about the length of the sleeves. I think that every single time I'm like, I want a sweater with really long, cozy sleeves. I just don't reach for it as much because that's not my preferred sleeve length. So it's like in my mind, I'm like, yes, I need a very cozy, very long sleeve sweater, but then I don't wear it because I'm like typing all day and knitting, and then I get like bunching around my wrists, which I don't like. So we'll see once I wear it a couple more times how I feel about it. I may go back and shorten the sleeves on that one as well. And then the theme of the last couple projects being Nutiden, I do have another Nutiden piece that I finished. And this is the Summer Ella by Lena Holm Samso. Let's see if you can see the details there. And so this is meant to be actually a summer top, but I just knit it with a winter yarn. And then what I did was I lengthened the sleeves so that they are elbow length. So they're not 3/4 length, they're just to the top of my elbow. And yeah, so it's just a really nice top, and I've worn it a couple times, and I really love it. So this one was knit in Nutiden in the color Vanessa, and I finished this one on September 1st. So now back to the test knits. I have a test knit for Haley of Ozetta, and this is the Miles tee. And so this just looks like a very basic drop shoulder tee until you turn it around and you see the back. And so it has this beautiful eyelet detail across the back increases of drop shoulders. If you know how to construct a drop shoulder, you usually start with like the back panel, then you pick up the shoulders, then you knit the front, and then you join in the round, and then knit down, and then you pick up the sleeves. So she has created the increases across the back in this lovely eyelet pattern. It has a split hemline here, which is really pretty detail. And yeah, I have worn this quite a few times in the fall. It's actually probably still warm enough for me to wear it at home, like at my home office. I wouldn't wear this out just because at this point it is pretty cool. And I knit this in Barocco Remix Light, which is a cotton blend yarn. And I finished this one on September 4th. Okay, hopefully you guys are not as out of breath as I am. I feel like I'm just going through these, but unless this video is going to be super long, I kind of have to whiz by them. So, my next project is my Vertices Unite, which I have gotten actually a lot of wear out of when I'm working from home. I just have it draped over the back of my chair, and I just pull it on during my Zoom meetings, and it just adds a pop of color on those days that I don't really feel like getting dressed, and so I just pull on a t-shirt and then I put this on over and I look very put together. And so I knit this in, so again, this is Vertices Unite by Stephen West, and so I knit this in Purl Soho Linen Quill in the fingering weight version. And yes, so I finished this one, looking at my notes, on September 26th, and I have worn it quite a bit. This was my Rhinebeck project for this year. So my next finished object is another test knit, and this is a test knit for Sari Nordlund of the Sveaborg Hat. And so it's this beautiful cabled hat, and I put a faux fur pom-pom on it. And so I knit this hat using shepherd's wool worsted from Stonehenge Fiber Mill, held with a Barocco Ariel in the color copper. So it gives it this very slight shine and halo. I'm not sure if it's picking it up on there, but it kind of gives it like almost a little, like, it makes it look like it has like flecks of gold thread through it, which is pretty cool. And so yeah, this was a very quick hat that I knit up for Sari as a test, and I love it. So another KnitandGrace project, and this one has not been blocked yet and is destined for the blocking mat today because I do want to take it with me on our trip that's coming up this week. And this is the Saglan Pullover, and this is a pre-knit for Albina McLaughlin. And so she's not released this pattern yet, but it's really cool because it has this really cool, I'm not sure how well the camera will focus or if it's really in frame, but it has this really cool combination saddle and raglan shoulder increase that really hugs your shoulders. So it's perfect for people like me who have rounded shoulders. And yeah, so what I did with this one is I made the turtleneck version. You can make, I think there are 3 different neck versions, 3 different body shaping versions. So I didn't do any shaping, and I knit my body a little longer. And then I knit my sleeves to my preferred bracelet length, sleeve length. And so that one I knit in KnitandGrace, and I finished the pullover on October 23rd. So the next pattern, or the next project that I knit, is one that is no longer in my possession, and this is another gift knit for my mom, and it is the Oslo Hat by Petite Knit. And so I knit this pattern in woolly knit, a cone, so they're 4-ply held double in the color black, and then I held it, I held a 3rd strand, so 2 strands of the woolly knit 4-ply, and then I held a strand of mohair with those 2 strands, so it was a total of 4 strands of yarn to make the hat. And I finished this one on November 13th. Okay, and we are in the home stretch. My next pattern are the family knitwork socks, and these are a Bernat yarn inspiration pattern, so I'll hold them back here and I'll show them up close here. And so these were a quick commuting knit that I knit up very quickly in about a week's time, and they're just a pair of house socks. I knit these in Patton's wool worsted, their classic wool worsted, and I finished these socks on November 19th. Then I have another unblocked no button cardigan project, which will definitely be blocked again also today, and buttons will be added because this will be going on our trip with us. But it is the First Cardigan by Lizzie Hester of Hive Knits. So it's just this beautiful raglan cardigan with sleeves that are in half fisherman's rib. And so I just need to block the second sleeve. It's already been mostly blocked, it's just the second sleeve needs to be blocked, and then I need to add buttons to it. And so I knit this in Holst Super Soft, held together with the Drops Kid Silk, and I finished the project on November 26th. And then the last project that I have to show you all is the Arctic Sun Socks by Liv of Woodlands Knit. And so I have worn these, so they're a little misshapen, but that's what they're looking like. And these were again another test knit that I just cast on last minute, just to have something to knit on my commute. And I will definitely be making another pair of these, because I actually knit these in, wore these in my wellies all last weekend when we were at my sister's house. And, you know, they actually don't even look like I've worn them at all, other than being stretched out from my foot. And they were extremely warm inside my wellies. So I'm planning on knitting another pair of these, or even just another pair of like Einband. So I knit these with Einband held with Drops Kid Silk. And so I think the Einband held with the mohair makes it very durable and also very warm. So I think I'm going to knit myself up a pair of welly socks with this yarn combo. And so I finished these on December 7th. So I do have one more project that I plan on finishing this year, which is the test knit that I mentioned for Bella of 100 Acre Wool, and that is of the Caroline shawl, and I'm currently knitting that in Nutidin, but it is currently a whip, but I know I will finish it by the end of the year just because it's due by December 30th. The test knit is due. And I have a few other whips that are on the needles that we'll see how many I get through while I'm away on vacation, and then I'll have a few FOs to show you in the new year. But yeah, those are all of the hand knitted items that I finished in 2022. If you're interested in having a little roundup video of the things that I sewed this year, let me know. I'm definitely willing to put that together as well. But I wanted to focus on my hand knits since, you know, this is primarily a knitting channel. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of these projects. I personally love watching these videos to see what everyone made in the year. And I also loved the process of going back and actually figuring out what I knit this year, which thankfully Ravelry is a very easy way for me to keep track. But I honestly, when I realized that it was 24 items, I did not think it was that much, because this definitely felt like a slow knitting year for me. And it's probably because I knit a lot more of bigger items this year as opposed to my usual smaller items and things. I always have like socks and stuff going. But yeah, let me know what your favorite of these items was. If there's anything that you knit this year that you think that maybe I need to take a look at for 2023. I'm still working through what I want to add to my wardrobe for next year as well. I do want to knit down some of my stash for next year. But I hope that you're having a wonderful holiday season, a great December. This email, oh my God, I have been working too much. I was gonna say I hope this email finds you well. I hope this video found you well, and you're having a good weekend, and you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you in my next video, which will be my Wednesday vlog this week. So please feel free to do all the things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.